we make a lot of tough decisions these days. We have only so much beer that we can make with the vessels that we have. And we have to figure out how much to allocate into what's going on draft and what's going out the door in another vessel. And we're still at a point where it's tough to figure that balance out. We don't know how many people are going to want to sit around and have a glass of beer on the patio versus would prefer to put it in their trunk and drive off. So I'd love to hear what you all are thinking. You know, would you prefer to go and get your beer to go and have it somewhere else, or would you like to like us to put effort into making a safe place for you to hang out with us?
You know, I'm thinking more about what types of events in your life are you going to go out to a brewery or a bar and restaurant to celebrate versus stay home and do it? You know, has that changed? You know, the size of groups that you're going out in, is that changing? Like, what, with all that's going on now, how moving forward, you know, what's going to be different with people? I mean, you know, I'm certainly thinking twice about going out and going, you know, to restaurants and whatnot and having large gatherings. So I'm sure other people have a variety of opinions and concerns about that. So I'd like to just know, like, what, you know, for you, how is that going to change how you're socially interacting with other people?
It's been interesting, to say the least, trying to figure out all the different ways that not only the state government, but also just our local officials have dealt with this has been really interesting and a little bit taxing to some degree to figure out, and everything, you know, as everybody else is experiencing at home with all their kind of things too. You know, everything's changing by the hour, so it's been interesting. We're actually lucky in the sense that our town and local health department are very supportive, and they actually come to our brewery with a ton of regularity. So I see them, I don't know, once every other weekend. So actually the town contacted us about opening up. They wanted us to get rolling right off the bat, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. Actually, this would be a good question. What are you all doing now, just so our participants know what you're doing in this moment to deliver your products to customers? Adam, do you want to start?
Oh man, what are we doing right now to deliver our product to our customers? So right now, as I'm sitting here, I just got approval from the town via email, literally like 3 minutes ago, to have an outdoor patio, a temporary outdoor patio. So
yeah. Breaking news. There was a question that someone brought in. So there's your answer.
You know, it was rough to get that going. We're in a unique position. There was a lot of safety concerns and whatnot. We're in a National Historic Landmark District and all that stuff. But so we're going to roll that out hopefully next weekend. Don't quote me on that. Watch our Facebook. But we certainly, you know, we're delivering our product like home delivery. Literally, my staff is driving my personal vehicle and driving it to your house to drop off beer. We've got curbside pickup with all the social distancing measures in place, you know, so you can pretty much contactless payment and contactless picking up beer. You know, we're certainly pushing our beer out into package stores, and now that restaurants are open, hopefully we can push it out there. We want to make sure that if you want to drink a Labyrinth beer, you can do so however it is you want to, and whether that's you come here and get some food from a food truck and chill on our patio, awesome. Maybe you just want to get a 4-pack or a crowler and go home and just kind of hang out at your place or whatever, that's fine. We want to get it into as many hands of people as we can. So
Dayne, you're celebrating your first anniversary. So assuming that you might not have as much of the infrastructure in place, how are you sort of navigating this? Is it very similar to what Adam's doing, or sounds like there's some bureaucratic aspects to it, having to walk through some Adam's face when I said that. So how are you navigating it as a new, and Mike, I see you. I'll turn it over to you then.
So I think I can speak for all of us in saying that we are trying very hard to stay within the guidelines that are set out for us, right? The state has laid out some very specific guidelines, and we're abiding by those. You know, first and foremost, everyone's safety is in our minds, and we want to make sure that our staff and our customers are safe. So we've noticed that the state regulations give a lot of leeway to towns and municipalities to work with local businesses. So it's nice that we're able to work at the local level to make some of these things happen. For us, as a small brewery with just 1 year under our belt, We are really fortunate that we got lucky in that we bought a canning machine in the months leading up to the pandemic. So we didn't get the canning machine online until 2020. We bought it from another brewery here in Connecticut called Back East, and Back East upgraded their canning machine. We got this thing in thinking this would be a nice transition for the next phase of our business. And it turned out that this is a lifesaver now for us, that without this, the only vessels we could put beer into to go was glass growlers. And crowlers, which for those who don't know are giant aluminum cans that you can seal off the tap. Until the crowlers went on shortage, and then the growlers went on shortage, and now everybody's trying to grab the glass, and the cans have been a lifeline for us. So we're putting everything that we can into cans, and close the tap room, obviously, and everything is pickup sales. And we've got a system now that we're really happy with, where you can order and pay online, so we don't have to touch any cash or deal with any transactions. You can pull up to we have a side door at the brewery. You can show us your ID through your window, and we can check who you are. You can pop your trunk, and we put the beer in it, and you can leave without us ever having to face-to-face interact with you physically. So we're happy with the safety of this setup, and this is how we're chugging along right now.
That sounds like it was very serendipitous that you made that investment at the time that you did. We're happy about that. Thank you, Dayne. Mike, did you have something to add to that? Or to what you all are doing at Black Pond?
Yeah. I was more mimicking about what Adam was mentioning about all the red tape and everything. It's been interesting to say the least. Trying to figure out all the different ways that not only the state government but also just our local officials have dealt with this has been really interesting, and a little bit taxing to some degree to figure out, and everything, as everybody else is experiencing at home with all their kind of things too. Everything's changing by the hour, so it's been interesting. We're actually lucky in the sense that our town and local health department are very supportive, and they actually come to our brewery with a ton of regularity. So I see them, I don't know, once every other weekend. So actually the town contacted us about opening up. They wanted us to get rolling right off the bat, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's great.
And so we already have a patio outside. So we met with them again today. They gave us approval a couple of days ago, but they came through, and they're actually also it looks like they're going to be purchasing tents for us. So for our back patio, the town is going to cover the costs of making sure that we have tents covering our customers that come and visit. And we worked with them to demarcate out zones where people can, groups of 4 or possibly 5 people can sit and consume beer on our patio. So we've been really lucky in the sense that the town and health department have been very supportive of trying to get things rolling, which is good. So.
That's actually a question that came in from from Sandra and Ken, who was asking specifically, which of you will have outside seating? So you said, Mike, that Black Pond Brews would have it. Adam, did you say you were going to have outside seating as well? Because you just got the
literally it just came
3
through.
minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Breaking news here, right? You heard it here first, folks. Dayne, are you going to have outside seating?
Yes, we have a patio. We haven't. We're not opening it on the 20th. Well, we're not opening it yet today. We're taking a little more time for several reasons. But our target is sometime in June having the patio back open.
And I purposely waited to ask Dave this question last about how he was sort of tackling this, because with the years of experience that he was introduced to me as the godfather of Connecticut breweries. And so with your years of experience, I'm sure you've seen a lot of things come and go. And I thought not only would the attendees enjoy hearing about how you're managing this, but also our fellow brewers here.
Sure. So initially, March 16th was our last, like everybody else's, last night that you could actually be in a bar and eat and drink and press elbows with everybody. But we had already seen the previous week with what was going on with the virus that people weren't coming out as much and being a little bit more socially distant on their own. You wanted to give people a hug, but you were more like just maybe a high five, or So
Oh.
when we closed down on the 17th, we continued to still be open for some food and some food and beer service while we had growlers. It's amazing how you could have 6 months worth of empty glass sitting in storage and go through it in 2 days because people were just trying to get as much beer as they could, which we were very happy with. But then as time went on, as Dayne had mentioned, that things became in tougher supply. Luckily, Jim Vendini from Steady Habit loaned me his crowler machine, and I was able to beg and borrow and buy empty crowlers from a variety of brewers throughout the state and even into Massachusetts, just to get me some beer to sell over the weekends. And what we ended up doing was eventually closing the restaurant end of things because the phone was ringing off the hook. We're a busy place to begin with, which we're very grateful for. But when there's 2 people trying to cook the food and 2 people trying to pack the food and 2 people answering the phone and trying to deliver the food, it was overwhelming. And I felt that we weren't doing justice to the quality of the product that we wanted to put out. And I felt it was unfair to my staff too, because they were literally just stressed for the entire time that the phone was ringing. So we decided to close the kitchen down and just start doing beer sales. So we have an online store that every Thursday we open back up, and we have a certain amount of beer that you can get now in growlers, howlers, or I got my own can seamer machine. So we're doing 24-ounce cans. And then we have a limited menu, and our chefs come in, they pre-cook everything, pre-package it. We have a count in the system, and you can go online and order it. And then again, it's all paid for. You call up when you get here, you give us the number that you have, and we run it out to your vehicle. But as of June 4th, and I'm throwing that number out there, and it's not cast in stone, we just had a manager's meeting today. That's what we're shooting for, to open up some outside dining. Our front patio, which is a beautiful spot in front of the building, probably wouldn't afford us enough tables to justify opening the kitchen and coming back to, in a sense, full-on to-go service. So we're trying to get all of our ducks in a row with this one. It's because we're such an established place, and we're very lucky to be established, the phone doesn't stop ringing. So we want to make sure that we provide a product that everybody wants, that when they get it after being packaged, because again, everything has to still go into to-go containers. We're trying to find the best containers to serve food in. And I even wonder, this was a discussion that a bunch of us were having today. So you want to come and sit outside because you want to be outside and eat, but you're eating out of a to-go container because we're not allowed to use silverware and glass plates. Everything has to be disposable. And you're not necessarily wanting to be around people that you don't know, but that's what's going to happen. And you want to drink beer out of plastic cups. Okay, I'm good with that. But what's the incentive really when you could just get it to go, take it home, sit on your patio, drink it at your own leisure, not have to listen to anybody? And I don't know. I'm really wondering what it's going to be. And one of the reasons we decided also to delay, not that we were ready to open today, but was I wanted to see, what the other restaurants are doing. And a lot of the places that I like to frequent, even in Manchester, Artisanal Burger, Main Pub, who have large patios. I'm wondering how it's all going to play out.
So anybody have a comment on that? On what would you say about customers making a point to support your breweries? Are you seeing that kind of support out there from your customers?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can speak to this. Again, we're located in a neighborhood. We have created this like fiercely loyal contingent of human beings that live in our community, that even on day one, we have people who are coming here. They make it a point to come weekly to buy beer at curbside pickup, and they tip generously, knowing that we were in the unfortunate position that we had to lay off our staff on March 16th. And we did not feel comfortable laying off our staff, which would also kick them off of their health insurance plan that all my staff have. So whatever, we've been sort of pooling all the tips to pay for that. Well, as soon as, I mentioned it to one person, think we made a Facebook post about it, and all of a sudden out of the woodwork came all of these people who are like our normal regulars, and it is like clockwork. They are still coming because they're at home. They're still getting, they're working from home remotely. They come, they pick up the beer, and they're just like trying to help us survive this time where we're, our sales are, 10% of what they used to be or whatnot. And, hoping that we'll come out on the other side of this because they want to, return to that atmosphere and whatnot. So, I mean, community support has been awesome. We're only still open because of that.
That's fantastic. Do you, it's also great to hear, as somebody who's passionate about small, locally owned businesses. It's wonderful to hear that. Would you all say, Mike, Dayne, and David, that you've experienced a similar thing? We see some of the love pouring out in the comments here. I'll try to read them to the group so that you all can hear them as well. So we're seeing an outpouring of love here. Are you also finding that as well, Mike and Dayne and David?
Oh, we definitely have. I mean, I'm amazed just how supportive of Connecticut consumers are of the local breweries, because we had a guild meeting, Zoom meeting Monday night, and some of the breweries are they're canning everything and doing home delivery and to the package stores and to the restaurants. And, of course they miss the taproom experience, because that's when you really get the one-on-one and you get to really engage with your guests. But because the guests are doing it in other ways, they're buying your product, and it's also supporting now the local farmers, the local butchers. There's so much that's going on to drive people to just say, we actually have plenty in this state that we can support, and we love it. If we're going to spend the money, let's truly buy local.
A couple of questions here about the IPA trends and also sharing what they're drinking. So if attendees, you want to send us some notes about what you're drinking so that they can see and get some idea, but also to ask you all, do you think the IPA trend is going to shift? And what do you see taking its place as we wait for everyone to comment on what they're drinking?
I don't know if that's the right question, honestly. Like, there's always going to be people who want to have an IPA, right? Whether that's a traditional, West Coast super bitter IPA, or one of the more, the newer styles where there's a ton of lactose and fruit. And, if you were transported from 1994 to the present, you would drink that and say, this is not an IPA, yet we label it as such on the can. From what I have seen in our tap room, where prior to this, we sold like 99% of all the product we made, we saw a trend more in a shift to having a larger variety of options, because those IPA guys are always going to drink them. Those darker beer people are always going to drink those. And sometimes you might cross and say, today I feel like a lighter beer or a heavier beer or whatever. But we've had a lot of success with a variety of options tap. I mean, certainly the IPA sell like going out of style. And if I had to pick a style that sells really well, almost as well as IPAs, I'd have to say sours sell pretty well. I see in Mike's comment, he's drinking a Labyrinth sour batch. Thanks, dude. I mean, that's an awesome. There's a whole crazy story behind that beer, but but my point is that I don't know if it's a matter of our IPA is going to go away and be replaced by this one product that we're all going to start drinking all of a sudden. I think as more people get into craft beer, I think we're going to see a wider variety of things available on tap in tap rooms and whatnot. I can't speak for the other guys on the call here, but at least that's kind of the trend I was seeing going in that direction. So,
yeah, one thing I'd point out here is. Along with what we were saying before, how are you seeing the support of your community? And I think this pandemic has given me an answer to a question that I've been getting for the last 3 years. Adam, I'm sure you got this question when you opened. Mike, I don't know about, maybe you did. Dave, I don't know if you experienced this when you were opening, but you get this question about the bubble, right? Every naysayer, when you say, I'm opening a brewery, I have a craft brewery, they say, aren't you worried the bubble is going to burst? And we all probably have our own response to that question, because we all get the question. I've always said that I don't see a bubble in the local communities. I see my local town has 3 or 4 different pizza places, and they're all doing okay. And I think that every town can support its own little microbrewery, and this has really kind of solidified that opinion for me. And that said, I think that when these little microbreweries open up, and us included, IPA is kind of synonymous with microbrew. It's just kind of what people expect when they walk into a new brewery. And this was actually part of the fun for us, was when we were getting ready to open and debating what our lineup should be. We have 10 taps. How many should be dedicated to what type of beer? We pride ourselves at Talks on variety, and we like to have a spectrum of different beers at all times. Different moments, we're heavier on one thing than another based on what's sold. But when we first opened, we learned very quickly, as Adam just pointed out, and I think as these guys would also attest to, that if you have one IPA on and then 9 other things, the IPA is going to outsell everything else combined. It's just what the market seems to want. And that's a great thing, but you don't want to just cater to that one group. You know, we have a variety of people with a variety of tastes. So we like to have a spectrum. So the question being, is this IPA trend going to go away? I hope the people who like IPAs keep drinking them, and I hope just to whatever the next new exciting thing is, I'll be happy to experiment with it. So
first and foremost, thanks everybody for joining on this call today. We appreciate all the feedback and having a chance to interact with people a little bit. That's always a positive given the kind of scenario. But I can echo what Dayne had said. Excuse me. We've been really humbled by everybody's support so far, and we definitely just support local. Go out there, even not just us, local bars, restaurants. If they even if it's just to go stuff, if you don't feel comfortable sitting down yet, get that stuff to go and keep supporting people. It's a tough time for a lot of people. So, I know I personally support or appreciate all the support from everybody. So thank you guys.
So yes, thank you for all of you who have supported us. It's because of you that we're still here. The pandemic has been really hard on all of us, but it's been amazing to see our community come together. So I encourage you all to support, not just us on this call, but whoever your local brewery is, just going to pick up whatever they have once a month even would be a big help in this time. So thank you guys for everything you've done, and hope that you keep on doing that as we go forward.
So, obviously I want to thank everybody for participating. I appreciate all your feedback. Also, I guess I want to just kind of say that, while this sounds like a lot of doom and gloom that we have this pandemic going on and our tap rooms are shut down and we're all social distancing, from my experience, craft brewers are very tenacious and very adaptable, and I don't think any of us on this call are going anywhere anytime soon. Mostly through the support of our communities and all of you all listening, but keep that support coming, and we'll still be here for you when this is all over with, and hopefully in a year or two, we'll be, having a pint at the bar, laughing about the crazy time we had to social distance and, use my bootleg patio out there and have a beer or whatever out of a plastic cup that's biodegradable and it's melting in the sun, so.
Well, I share the sentiments with everybody on the panel that we are very grateful that you invited us to do this. It's tough to reach out to the people that care about all of us in a way that actually is a little bit engaging without the face-to-face. And it's great to get the emails and the support, and it's great when, people are placing their orders. But yeah, we're all looking forward to that day when we can, click our glasses together and just enjoy what we've all come to really bring ourselves to do. We do this because we love beer. We love to make beer. But it's really the social interaction. Nobody becomes a bartender or a server because, they like to be told that they're not doing a good job or yelled at or complained to. They do it because they love social interaction. And that's why we do this. We want to make things that make people happy and enjoy them with you. Since we can't do it, in person, we're doing it virtually. And I thank you, and I raise a glass, and please stay healthy. And thank you very much. This is great.